Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it is day 2 of our February release. Hey, so I am using our new Paint Splatter stencil, the new Kawaii Art stamp set, the new Paint Your Own Story stamp set. I'm also using from our last release, the Fancy Heart dies, the Heart Layer dies, Mini Tags dies 3, the Stylized Rectangle dies, and I'm also using the Gable Box dies. Now I've cut out the little craft hearts with those Fancy Heart dies, and I cut out 2 of them, and I'm going to be applying, using my stencil and Distress Oxide ink and Festive Berries. So I taped those die cuts to the back of the stencil, and I'm going to be taking my Tailored Expressions blending brush, and I'm just going to be applying a heck load of ink on there. Basically, I'm just getting ink on there. I want to make it look like pattern paper, so no nuanced shading. I'm just slapping it on there. So I just want to make it look like it's been, splattered heavily with red is what I'm going for. So this is a adorable little release that I'm using today. Super exciting. And if you're a crafter, it's right up your alley. So, you must have crafting friends like I do. So gotta love it. Gotta love it. So there we go. So I've got 2 of them and I've got all the ink on there. So fast stuff. And now I basically went away and I've got an A2 sized vertical card base here made out of paper tray ink craft cardstock, the same as those hearts. I've got a 2-inch strip from the Echo Park I'd Rather Be Crafting 12-inch paper line. I'm also using gingham linen, the pistachio gingham linen 12-inch from Doodlebug. So I'm just applying this 2-inch strip of pattern paper. It's kind of perfect because it has little paint brushes on it and, scissors and so forth. Makes it look like a little crafting. I'm applying it off to one side of my A2 size card base. And there we go. That's a 4.25 by 11-inch piece of cardstock from Paper Tray Ink and Craft, scored at 5.5 inches. So there we go. And now I've got everything kind of already pre-colored and ready. So you'll see that is, that little image is from the Paint Your Own Story stamp set. And I just colored that with Copics. They'll all be listed on my blog. And I used Ink on 3's Blackout ink for that. And the striped paper is, like I said, from that I'd Rather Be Crafting paper pad also. So I'm applying the heart to the also that red pattern paper, which is also from that I'd Rather Be Crafting. So and that piece right there is a Stylized Rectangle die, and that is cut out of that Doodlebug gingham linen paper. So I'm applying that little pattern piece to the lower left-hand corner, and then there's my stencil piece layered onto the red cardstock. So I'm going to be applying that to my card base with HED tape again, just trying to figure out where it's going to go. There we go. You'll notice I did some Copic coloring on there, just easy coloring, usually 3 shades of each color. And I took the colors from the actual pattern paper. So now I decided I didn't like it. I needed another layer, so I cut out another layer of that craft cardstock in just 1/8 of an inch larger all around. So it just gives it a tiny little bit of a border. So it acts kind of as a buffer between the patterns. I just found it just makes it look a heck of a lot better. So there we are. So now I'm going to be applying that to my card base in the lower left-hand corner, if I can get things straight. That's a challenge these days, I'm telling you. I try to get things straight all the time. I'm supposed to have an eye doctor's appointment, or no, not eye doctor, I guess optometrist appointment tomorrow. And we'll see how my eyes are faring. But let me say it's hard for me to get things straight these days. So I wouldn't be surprised if I've got to do something about those. So now I'm using my foam tape from 3M. And I'm just going to pop up this little Gable Box layer. That's the front layer of the Gable Box die. And that little front layer fits all of the tag stamps from Jaded Blossom. So it's quite handy. And I use it on cards all the time, not just on the front of my Gable Box. In fact, I rarely use it on the front of my Gable Box. I use other things on there, but I digress. So there we go. So we're going to layer that in the lower left-hand corner. And basically I'm just creating a little grouping. And now I'm going to move on to my gable box. So I've cut that out of the same pattern paper from that I'd Rather Be Crafting line. And I'm just quickly folding on all the little score lines. These are super easy from Jaded Blossom. You know, I love the gable box die. It's large enough for little treats, little craft supplies, a little bit of money, what have you. You can fit little gifts in there. Gotta love that. So now I'm using my red line tape. That's kind of my favorite for putting together Jaded Blossom's little treat boxes. It holds really well. Cutting it with my little EK Success scissors that are non-stick, because let me tell you, that red line tape is super sticky. You don't want to get your scissors all gummed up with that, let me tell you. So there we go. Now these are so easy to put together. I just use my bone folder to make sure that that red line tape was on there well, so I can peel off the release paper easily. And I'm just going to line that up along the score line. So it makes things super easy. There we go. And now I'm just sticking it all together. It is so simple. So now I'm also going to use red line tape on the bottom of the box. So you just want to apply some adhesive to one side of the flap. You'd want one really close to the end and one a little bit in. And that's what I'm doing right now. You could use, you know, liquid glue. Only thing with the liquid glue, you've got to wait for it to stick, right? So that's the only drawback. But I've made plenty of box with liquid glue. They turn out just fine. So there we go. I liked two-sided pattern, like double-sided pattern paper for these cute little boxes from Jaded Blossom, because you get the, you know, the different paper on the inside. It just looks kind of neat. There we go. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll be closing it with a little clothespin. That's kind of my thing. And I can't even tell you where I got that clothespin. I kind of collect them wherever I go. So now that image is from Kawaii Art. And I just colored it with Copics again. They'll be all listed on my blog. There is my little heart that I used the splatter stencil on. And like easy stuff. That Paint the Town is from the tag that I stamped on the card I already made. I just cut it apart and stamped it separately, colored with Copics. There we go. And that little, and it was cut out with the Mini Tags 3 dies. And then I cut out the little bucket by hand. Normally I use my Gemini, or not my Gemini, my Brother Scan and Cut for that, but I just cut this out by hand because I just had one to do. So now I'm going to pop that up with a little bit of foam squares. They're dimensionals from Stampin' Up. There we go. And then I'll be applying that to the front of my little image there. So it's too cute. And like I said, super easy coloring. They'll all be listed. I'm using the shape sprinkles now, 2 little eyeballs from the Eerie Eyes set that I'm going to apply to the bucket. Now, this bucket comes with stamps. You can put your own, like stamp your own face, but I felt like putting little eyeballs on it. Little googly eyes would be cute too. But that's what I decided to go with. And now I'm using chevron ribbon. That is from Close to My Heart. It's called Ruby Ribbon, but it doesn't really look like ruby. It's more of a, I don't even know what to call it, like a corally color. But it seems to go with what I got going on. So that is my Bow Easy that I can't live without. And I'm just going to tie a quick bow using it. And then I'm going to stick that bow onto the little clothespin. And I like doing that just because it makes getting into the little box easy. You don't have any issues. And it's too cute. Like I love the look of it. So there we go. Sometimes I use hot glue to stick them. Other times I'll use glue lines, glue dots. There we go. And I'm just going to cut these off with my fabric scissors. You want to keep a pair of scissors in your craft room that are just for fabric. And don't hide them. Don't let anyone see those ones, because you know they're just going to grab them and cut stuff with them and wreck them. So there we go. So I'm going to apply my little glue dots. And fast and easy peasy, you know, you could fill that up with some Hershey Kisses and Bob's Your Uncle. Too cute. There we are. Now I'm going to be adding some enamel dots. And these are also from Echo Park. The nice thing is if you stick within the same line, a lot of their stuff matches. So this is the Jungle Safari enamel dots, and I'm going to be using the teal ones. And I'm going to put them on like I usually do here and there. And just so you know, I use Copic C3, 5, and 7, YR20, 23, 27, R22, 27, 29, E43, 47, 49, and BG 15, 18, 32. But those will all be listed on my blog along with everything else that I used. There we go. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to come back tomorrow to see what I've got for you. I'm sure I'll have another video. And make sure you stop over at the Jada Blossom blog and see all the design team members' amazing inspiration. They always wow me, and hopefully they wow you too. Anyways, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.